Good evening, Facebook friends. Alex here along with
Janine.
And we are here back on another virtual hard hat tour. We've been doing these for decades, it feels like now, since the beginning,
of time.
Yes, since the beginning of time.
That's
so,
correct.
tonight we're going to do a little bit something different because it has been so long. Every single week we've just been going kind of piecemeal what's changed. And we've been getting a lot of requests from people to see things that we haven't necessarily been showing every single week. So today we're going to do kind of a quick summary of the entire project. So that we've had a lot of new people tuning in, and this way you're going to be able to see everything and not have to go all the way back to episode 1. And even since beginning of March, there's been so much that's changed. So we're going to do kind of a quick overview of everything, but there's a lot to show. So
there is a lot to show. And
Yep.
you know how I've been spending my time in quarantine, Alex?
I don't know.
I've memorized every single digit of pi.
Oh, okay.
They just aren't in order.
Doesn't matter how you slice it.
Doesn't matter how you slice it, it's still pi.
There you go. So if you're new to this, welcome to the bad jokes every single week, brought to you by Janine. But we want to hear from you guys, so please in the comments below, if you have questions as we go along, put those down there. If you just want to say hi, let us know where you're from, what state, what city, which couch you're on this week. Say hi, and we'll try and, Janine will be watching comments here, so we'll try and answer those as we go along. We also have, if you caught us on Friday, we had kind of a big announcement with a new campaign that's going on, kind of a very short, urgent campaign. And we'll be giving you, towards the end of this tour, we'll give you an update on that. I've got some exciting news just since Friday. So make sure you stay tuned till the very end so we can give you those updates.
Let's do it.
So we are here on the first floor. We'll have camera pan around back towards the front doors just so you can get kind of an idea where we're at. So there's the front doors back there, main lobby, beautiful historic floor there. And then back here is the rear lobby, which we've talked about a lot prior to these renovations. Was not really an area you wanted to hang out or do anything back here.
So it was always when you walked in under the marquee, which is gorgeous, the tile floor, which is gorgeous, the lobby, which is gorgeous, and then you pass through this sad beige tunnel. Kind of, though.
Dark.
A dark
narrow.
Beige. The lighting wasn't great. It was quite small. The bathrooms were teeny. And then you walked into this great auditorium. So you had this kind of ancillary space. So this has made the grandeur is complete from the minute you walk under the marquee to the minute you take your seat to the minute you use the restroom. All of these spaces now reflect what would have been here in 1929, what they would have wanted to assumingly built had the stock market not crashed in the midst of construction. So we're really happy because I think it feels like this is how it should have been built.
Yeah, so if you want to come in, we'll let Janine kind of show you some of the coves and the lighting here, what's really changed this year.
So it's, we actually didn't raise the ceiling back here, which we've actually had a lot of people ask that. We've had some small groups of volunteers through, my parentals have come through, and yeah, it feels higher, lighter, airier. Before we didn't have these coves or this cove lighting. It was very much just a flat ceiling with these sad little 1980s kitchen lights, which were fine.
I always called it 1980s attempt to Art Deco.
Yes, it was very much. You can tell what they were going for. It's hard. Without making such a grand change, there really wasn't much you could do with what was here. So now, where our existing concession stand has obviously changed, where the bathrooms were has obviously changed and opened up to this much more usable space, much more patron-friendly space, especially when we have, any of you have been here, especially for a dance recital when they're still warming up on stage and you have a good 200, 300 people standing here like, when can we get in, when we get in, and you're just super tight. This is going to allow for a little bit more breathing room, more space to move about, bathrooms that won't have a line that's 1.5 miles long. So this space, from the moment we can have shows again, whenever that may be, will absolutely change the whole vibe of the experience from when you scan your ticket to when you sit down. Sometimes we have to have these doors closed. Sometimes they're not finished doing sound check. They're not finished warming up. So we have to hold patrons here, and to make this space so much more patron friendly has just been so
Yeah,
exciting.
so to that measure, a couple of new things. Out here, we've got this kind of indent in the wall here, both here between aisle 1 and 2, and then all the way down here between aisle 3 and 4. These little niches are going to house large TVs that will have some of our new digital signage. So this will allow us before shows, at intermission, after the shows, to have information specific to that show, upcoming shows that are going to be here,
specialty drinks,
recognize our sponsors and donors. But during the show, we're going to be able to turn this over to a live feed in the theater. So just like Janine was talking about, if you get stuck out here with a little kid, if you came in late, you want to come out and get a drink refill or run to the bathroom, you're going to still be able to watch what's going on. And we're also adding speakers throughout the entire lobby areas and restrooms on both floors, so you're not going to miss a single thing no matter what. So I think this is going to be a huge improvement for all of our patrons.
So much. And during intermission, currently we would flash lobby lights, we'd flash lights back here, which is fine for anyone in those spaces, no problem. What if you're in the bathroom and you come out and you're like, oh, the show started. Now we're going to have, like Alex said, those speakers will be able to indicate chimes saying, hey, you have 30 seconds or a minute, whatever the time may be. So that way, wherever you are, literally in the building, you know, oh, the show's about to restart. So that, again, just makes the patron experience that much better.
Yeah. So out here, all the plaster is done down here. There is a lot to get painted, so
yes.
that will be taking place. That's the very last thing. So down here, everything that's white, you're just seeing the raw plaster. And we've talked about this before, but some of the other areas that exist in the building will have the same paint treatment as down here. So everything that's white is going to end up having that same texture and color and everything else once it gets painted out. The other thing that's really cool down here is these columns. So this is, we talked about this before, but this column area down here, this is where the wall was for the bathrooms.
Yeah.
So this was the men's restroom here, that was the women's restroom there. So these are structural columns, we couldn't get rid of those. So instead of just having kind of a random column in the middle of the room, we decided to have it have a purpose.
Yeah, have it make sense.
So these are drink ledges here, they're gorgeous, very sturdy. Put these around these two columns. So when you're waiting out here before a show or intermission, we've got kind of a cool little socializing area there. You can set a drink down, set a small purse or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have outlets, so come Christmas time, me and Brandon, little Christmas elves, can decorate them a little bit, because we are always thinking of the holidays here at the Egyptian Theater.
Yes. So very, very excited about this area back here. Anyone that's, the few people that have been able to come in during COVID that have seen back here have just raved about how big of a change back here in a really positive way. And once this all gets painted out, the hope is it looks like it's always meant to be here. It was always supposed to be like this. And we keep talking about as staff, we can't believe for 90 years this theater survived with just kind of this narrow area back here.
Yeah.
So this is going to be absolutely amazing for every event that we have here, whether it's a private event, just using the lobby space, or all of our public events as well. It's going to be amazing.
It is absolutely going to change the experience, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
So concessions,
yes.
The fun stuff. So our old concession stand was We. This one is not We. So we are going from 2 points of sale in the entire building. So 2 points of sale to buy popcorn, soda, candy, anything you needed for 1,400 seats, a lot. Long lines. Now we're going to 4 here and 2 upstairs. So we're going from 2 to 6, tripling the amount, which is going to be awesome. And then we're also bringing in our own in-house liquor sales, which is going to be huge, which is why you see this little beauty right here. So that's exciting, the fact that we get to offer liquor in-house, but let's break down the design. So we haven't talked about that in a hot minute. So as we've talked about with all of the design aspects of this project, it has very much been, we have to keep the fact that this is a 90-year-old Art Deco Egyptian Revival theater in mind. So this, I think, is the most obvious inspiration from part of our architecture already. This is very much the same ironwork that you see on the staircase leading up to the mezzanine. We wanted to tie in those already existing architectural elements into what we're building, so that when you come in and see this, it's like, wait, was this already here? It seems like it should have been. It seems like something that would have been in this building. So that is completely why we decided with this iron. And same with the old-fashioned kind of patinaed, mirrored backsplash, because again, we don't want it to look too sleek, too modern, too 2020. It had to look 1929 inspired, because obviously we can't do something that looks like it's straight out of 1929. It would have looked too on the nose, and also that would have been really hard to find those materials. It was hard enough to find stuff that was inspired by. But we were able to, with our awesome, figure out ways to have little touches and inspirations of 1929 architecture in these new pieces. So that is kind of the overviewing design aspect. But with it being in 2020, we absolutely wanted to consider every patron that comes through our doors. So we do have, you can see with our cleaner, we have an ADA counter now. So accessible counter, so if someone's in a wheelchair or walker, they need a different accessibility to our concession stand, we now have that offering. So that's really exciting, because that's something that just wouldn't have been considered in 1929. And so we wanted to bring this concession stand quite literally out of the 20th century into the 21st century, and make sure every single patron that's in our building feels welcomed, feels that they can move about the space without having to make any major adjustments. Is completely 2020, and we're so happy to add it.
Yeah, so physical stand down for a couple weeks now. Food service, they were back again this morning.
Some of the coolers and stuff back there, our popcorn machines we've been using for weeks now. Shameless plug. Come and see on
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're up there along with a bunch of other great vendors. County. So,
a lot of people come
on Thursday, pick us a pop
to watch the movie.
So it is
real, freshly popped movie theater popcorn.
So we've been using already very excited. The rest of the service equipment finalized here. But do we want to head into the bathrooms on the first floor here?
Yes, sir. So let's turn and go into the bathrooms.
Alrighty. Go into the
looks, if you've been here before, looks like the original door. We were able to utilize some of the original components of that, so the glass, the wood pieces, and the pull hardware there is from the original doors. But because of ADA, we had to go to a wider door, which of course we wanted to do to better accommodate everyone. And so the door itself is new, but we were able to utilize some of the hardware from the old doors, which was really cool. So here, the new women's restroom, beautiful floor. That turned out to be one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So absolutely gorgeous inlay tile floor there. And I'll let Janine kind of explain the features of the women there.
Man, look at that tile. Guys, like, again, with our interior designer, to figure out ways to bring in 1929 grandeur into a 2020 space, I think, I don't say we nailed it, but like, kind of though.
And it's a huge upgrade.
It is a huge upgrade. And going back to what I talked about, the ADA accessibility, we have new ADA stalls. And look at that baby changing station. Oh my gosh, we're going from
never had
none
before. Yeah.
to, how many are in the building now?
4.
4.
So women's and men's restrooms on both floors
And
now
you can
all have
see
baby changing.
It's kind of the same on the other side. Look at that lovely tile inlet. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And then we'll walk back down to the other side. But first, we do have these little separators. So say we have a show of like 25, like for a movie, something small, we can pull those little things across and shut down the bathroom. But as we're heading back out, look at these mirrors. They are powder room inspired, which would have been so 1929 to have that powder room-esque feel in the women's restroom. So we're so excited. And as we move to the men's, notice the difference. Look at our new drinking fountains, guys. Oh my gosh, they're so much better. And they won't go onto the carpet like the old one did.
Yeah, we've got tile underneath there. So coming to the men's here, it was very typical in the 20s that men's and women's restrooms would have had a different look. And so we wanted to make sure we stayed true to that. So the men's restroom has a totally different look than the women's. You can see a little more masculine, but very much still an Art Deco look. So we've got increase both in the men's and women's. Huge increase. Women's had 3 stalls, now has 14. The men's had 3 urinals, 3 stalls, and now has 4 stalls, 10 urinals. So both restrooms on the main floor now each have 14 fixtures. And just is going to be such a massive improvement over what we had before. And you can see there the drink ledges above the urinals.
Look at that tile.
Yes.
Pyramid-y. Pyramid? I can't talk. Pyramid with an I. Let's head back out to this area. So I won't say the bathrooms are looking pretty tops, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
They're probably our favorite part. They're my favorite part until the carpet comes.
Yes,
and then the carpet's going to be my favorite
of course.
part.
So not only are they a huge increase in number of facilities that we actually have, again, all of you that have been here before know it doesn't matter what size of event, there was always lines, especially at the women's restrooms, and there was almost always lines at the men's restrooms on some of the bigger shows as well. So not only are the lines hopefully going to go down and move a lot faster, but the restrooms finally look like they're meant to be in a beautiful historic theater.
So much. And we can talk about a little bit more upstairs of how we got inspired by the upstairs bathroom, the original bathroom. But yeah, it's absolutely something that, again, that vibe, that feel, that architectural flair that you see in the already existing parts of the building, we are so happy that it's continuing even through the restrooms.
Yeah. Before we head into the back area, do we have any questions have come up?
We do not. I'm sorry our audio is spotty. I've tried to troubleshoot it, and I can't explain it. It might just be our Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
Hopefully it's doing better now.
Yeah. I'll try not to talk as fast, but no promises.
Our Wi-Fi cannot keep up with Janine's rapid pace. So there will be eventually a set of wood doors here that will block kind of the public areas from the back of house area here. Those haven't been installed yet. We've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, but now some of the cool stuff is starting to go in. This is our control vestibule. So not only do we have a monitor here with all of our security cameras throughout the building, you would think that, oh, you're just going to use this to kind of monitor if there's any issues or crime or anything, heaven forbid, like that, which really never happens here. But what we use this for that's really helpful is us just kind of monitoring traffic flow, being able to relocate volunteers and staff in different areas if we get bottlenecks, if we suddenly have a huge surge of people come to the front doors at the last minute, or lines are backed up at concessions. Really helps us monitor the building and make sure that your experience here is as good as we can possibly make it.
Absolutely. I mean, that truly is. If you guys are, usually we have that up front all the way at the mobile box office where Brandon stands. Now, Brandon, this is going to be his home base. Which will be great because they'll have radios back here so he can be like, hey, Alex, Janine, can you jump behind here? We're getting a rush here. We're doing this and that. Because, yeah, it is, hopefully you're getting a peek behind, like I say, the curtain of Oz. But hopefully when you're here, you don't realize what we're kind of busy in the hive, buzzing, doing. And that way it's just kind of this secret little thing that we do to make your experience the best it can be. So you're not sitting there going, why do they have only one bartender? There's 20 people here. We can see that and go, hey, we need more than one person there. Let's switch that up quick so we can make adjustments in real time, which is awesome.
Yeah, so right here is where the old wall used to be. This was where the building ended. So back in here is the new building. And still very much a work in progress, but this back storage room, all of our volunteers that are watching right now.
Yeah, this is exciting.
We'll appreciate this. We've been talking about this forever. Previously, all of our volunteers, we love them dearly, used to just have to throw in our back. A third quarter the size of this room.
It's horrible.
Housed everything you could possibly think of. You just had to find a spot to throw your coat in. So back storage room now, we're going to have dedicated lockers. They'll be up against the wall here with spots for people to hang coats, put bags in, stuff. So we're really excited to be able to offer that for volunteers. It seems like a small, trivial thing, but for us, it's a really big deal to make sure that we've got a spot that our volunteers feel just as welcome as we try and make all of our patrons here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys are taking literally time out of your day, the most valuable thing to give us time. And so we don't want to be like, just throw your coat on top of a mop, because that's kind of what it was. And know that it wasn't any of our feelings towards you. It was because we just had a hairy closet, and that was it. So now you have a lovely space, coat rack, individual closets, lockers. We have so many closets. But that way, again, if you're like, hey, I'm new, I don't know, I'm nervous about leaving a purse someplace where I'm not, fine, that's totally cool. We welcome you to be as comfortable as you want to be in our space, because we don't ever want anyone from patron to volunteer to staff member to feel uncomfy here. This should be the most comfy place that we want you to be at.
Yeah. So we won't go outside because it's raining here. Let us know if it's raining where you're at. But this will be our new delivery entrance. So this is off of 2nd Street. This is where all of our deliveries for the kegs, concession supplies, Coke products, all of that stuff will come right down through here. We have a center post that comes out, so we're able to bring all those right into here into our storage room, take some of the stuff down to the beer cooler. No longer have to bring all of those pallet jacks and everything else across the original historic tile floor in the lobby. So really excited to be able to bring that off of that and really help preserve that lobby floor.
And that's why we have this frosted too, just so it's kind of a back of house space, so you don't really care to be like, oh, they haven't unloaded their pallet. Don't shame us. So we frosted it because we still wanted natural light. We still wanted to have a nice storefront appeal, but we wanted to have it frosted just because
it's a storage
room, guys. It's not exciting, so don't be upset. It is exciting for us, but if you're walking by, upstairs.
The other